Search for missing 4-year-old Javeayah Harris continues for the third day. News Channel 6's Anaya Clark is live from Bethel Baptist Church with the latest. Anaya, what can you tell us?
All right, well, it's been more than 48 hours since Javeayah Harris was first reported as missing. Now, as Sheriff Marty Sawyer says, there is no evidence that Javeayah was abducted and that may have wandered off on her own. Now, as you can see right here behind me, that we're still at Bethel Baptist Church, and where law enforcement is scattered all over to continue the search. Now, hundreds of law enforcement and first responders search around Reynolds Pond Road where she was last seen. Now, crews have been out all day today conducting a grid search to avoid missing evidence or contamination. Law enforcement are spending time today to going to local neighborhoods, searching for potential video surveillance and continuing car searches. Now, Sheriff Sawyer says that they won't stop until they find her. I talked to a neighbor who tells me that she is worried for the family.
Yeah, and my prayers go to the family, and our church, Bethel Baptist I go to, they're helping out too. I would like to say to the parents, I'm praying for y'all. I know that this is hurting you, breaking your heart, and that everybody in the neighborhood is thinking about you and praying for you.
Now, the Aiken County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in finding Javeayah Harris. They're asking anyone who has any information on this investigation to call the tip line right there on your screen. Now, the Sheriff's Office has set up a website for anyone in the community to submit any video that is relevant to this investigation. Now, we have the link on our website at WJBF.com. Live in Aiken County, Anaya Clark, WJBF News Channel 6. Back to you, Kim. Enforcement is scattered all over to continue the search. Now, hundreds of around Reynolds Pond Road where she was last seen. Now, crews
just within the last 15 minutes, Will, we've heard from the Aiken County Sheriff's Office that they are going to be scaling back their efforts, but they said that they want the public to know that though they might be dialing back a bit, that they are not going to stop looking for Javeayah Harris until they find Javeayah Harris. That has been their top priority all week long. Sheriff Marty Sawyer has said that to us multiple times, that the ultimate goal in all of this is to find Javeayah and bring her home to her family and to this community. And the community itself, he touched on how supportive this community has been throughout the entire week, worried about Javeayah, wanting to find her. And while he says that they are appreciative of the community wanting to help, they are still encouraging folks to stay away from this command center that they have at Bethel Baptist Church out here by Pipeline Road. But he did say a couple of the things that the community can do is to utilize that tip line that the Aiken County Sheriff's Office has. They have that number posted on their website. We have it on our website as well. He says that no detail is small there, and they are also encouraging folks that if you have any photos or videos you think could help investigators search or find Javeayah, they have a website set up to where you can post any photos or videos you think could help them in this search. And he also wants the community to stay vigilant, to look in your own yards, to in any spots that a child may be hiding, so bushes or ditches, for example. But most of all, he wants the community to pray for Javeayah, for her family, and for the folks that are out here searching for her and have been searching for her all week long, going into the dark hours and into the morning hours, as well as during the day out here in this brutal heat. Will, you and I have seen folks coming in and out of this command center drenched in sweat, carrying bottles of water as they go in and out, some of them coming here to take breaks, but just constantly moving, going out into the neighborhood where Javeayah was last seen at. It's about a half a mile from the church. And I can say that we're out there again today over in the Hillsborough Street area, as well as on Ridgecrest Road, going door to door, talking to neighbors, just walking around on the ground, trying to get any sort of information that they can find. And I was out there talking with some of the neighbors myself today, and they were telling me that all week long they've seen the FBI, SLED, other law enforcement agencies searching in their yards, asking them questions to, again, just get any sort of information that that can hopefully lead them in the right direction of finding Javeayah Harris. But you mentioned earlier talking about how the search is going to change a bit going into the weekend. Another thing that the Aiken County Sheriff's Office just told us is that they'll be dialing back on those roadblocks that we've been telling you about all week long. For the longest time, no car was coming into this area unchecked. You couldn't come in without getting stopped, and you couldn't leave without getting stopped. And these deputies were asking people questions like what is their name, their contact information. They were also asking folks what they were doing in the area, how often they're in the area, do they come in this area often. They were also asking if they knew Javeayah, if they knew her family, if they knew anything about her prior to Tuesday evening. Those are just a couple of the questions that law enforcement has been asking people who travel through this area all week long. But again, the main message from the Aiken County Sheriff's Office tonight is that though they might be scaling back their search efforts, they're not going to stop searching until they bring 4-year-old Javeayah Harris home to her family. Will?
And Sydney, you told us earlier that the Lexington County Mobile Command Center, which is the large black-looking RV that's on scene there, is actually going to be leaving as well because they had a prior engagement for this weekend. So again, it doesn't mean that they're scaling back in their search and what they're doing necessarily, but just reevaluating some of the resources. But in the press release that we just got from the Aiken County Sheriff's Office, what stood out to me was the quote saying that we have additionally conducted numerous interviews with this investigation to include Javeayah's family. So family, the Sheriff's Office confirming that family was actually interviewed once more. We did talk to the father yesterday, and we have that for you on our website, WRDW.com. So investigators in the Sheriff's Office confirming they have talked to the family once again. But heading into the weekend, it looks like the Sheriff's Office looking at resources and what's available heading into the holiday weekend. And many of you may be wondering why there wasn't an Amber Alert. This has been a big topic over the last couple of days. We did look into that, and there are specific requirements law enforcement need to send one out. We'll put that on your screen now. Authorities must believe a child was abducted. The child needs to be 17 years old or younger in immediate danger here. They have to have enough information available, like suspect information and vehicle details, along with the child's name and information entered into NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center. And like Sydney was saying, some of you have been very adamant about joining this search, but the Sheriff's Office is urging everyone to stay away from that search area. Officials say that they're using all types of tools to look for Javeayah, including helicopters, drones, and of course dogs. They say if anyone else comes into that search area, they could miss a clue, accidentally destroy any evidence, or cause harm to themselves or someone else. They add for the dogs, they do need that clean trail, and extra foot traffic could wipe out Javeayah's scent if it's available. You can check your property and call the tip line if you know anything, if you see anything that could help bring Javeayah home. And we're taking another good look at her here. You can't get enough look at her at this point. Remember, she was last seen at around 8 p.m. Tuesday night playing in a chicken coop at her home on Hillsborough Street and Ridgecrest Road. Her mother called 911 at around 8:45, telling deputies that she was wearing pink Minnie Mouse pajamas, Crocs, and she was last seen with braids with pink beads on the end. If you see her or have any information, call 911 or again, that tip line. It's 803-502-5200. We'll bring in your first alert meteorologist, Emily Acton. Emily, this is something we've been talking about since Tuesday. That graphic you have right there is not a good sign for this search heading into the weekend.
Watching her, she was in and out of the house, I say that, and I was going to get up and wash the clothes. What else can I say? I left the house around six, like late six, maybe like early seven o'clock. It was probably around like 6, and I got back to the house maybe around 7:15 because my girl and my daughter said they wanted some candy, like she wanted some suckers and she wanted cookies, and I had went to like three stores maybe in between those times to go get gas, Black Miles, and I had got some drinks, like some little Mad Dogs and stuff like that. And when I left and I went back to dry the clothes because I was washing them. I was sitting there for a little minute, then I ended up going to another store. Like these 3 stores that I'm saying, like I sold the 3 stores already, but I went to a store last. Gotcha. And I was back at the washing machine that was right beside the Circle K. And then when I was at the Circle K, I was seeing a lot of police and stuff going through. And I was wondering, I was like, you know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of stuff goes on in Aiken to where like you would be like, okay, that's the police or whatever. But I didn't know that it was my house. Because my girlfriend at the time, she didn't have service. She didn't have service on her phone, so she couldn't call me to let me know anything that was going on. So she just ended up calling 911. So when I came back to the house, before I got on my road, I seen a police truck with a drone out, and then that's when I started speeding up because I was like, it's something going down like close to my house. When I got turned on my road, I seen a whole bunch of police like right at my house. So that's when I hurried up and I got to the house and I was like, what's going on? I thought my girlfriend was in labor because she was supposed to have a baby. You know what I'm saying? Soon. So she ended up having a child that same night on July 1st. But she came up crying to me saying my Javeayah missing. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like I kind of freaked out. And the detectives were telling me I couldn't go look and stuff like that because they didn't want me to mess up the area or whatever. But that's basically what happened up until all of this came about.
Okay. Is she known to run away? Like, has there been past issues with that with her? Or is she known to do that?
No, she does not run away, but I will say that she is friendly. Like, she's friendly. Like, she doesn't, like, it's not a stranger danger thing with her. It's not like get away from me. Like, she didn't get that. She didn't understand it. She was just all friendly to everybody. She was very respectful. Like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. Like, that's what she do. We raised her great. Like, she was a real smart kid. That's why, like, they had me kind of, like, messed up. But they were saying that she was not, like, she's non-verbal and that. Like, yeah, she was, they saying she's autistic and, like, that was, like, the media was, like, messing. I don't want to cuss, but that was messing my head up a little bit because they don't even have a good description of my child to try to describe her.
What's a good, is she autistic or is she on the spectrum at all? Is that true?
She was on the spectrum when she was born, but they said that she couldn't be tested until she was 4 years old.
Okay, so it's on, you guys just don't know.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
We never got her tested, and she's never given us signs that she is, autistic. She talks good. She's like very like she talks better than me. She got more respect than me.
Understood. So you guys have no idea what could have happened to her.
I have no clue. Like, sir, I don't like. It's really wild, but I had gave all of these detectives this information about people snooping around the house lately. Like since I started work, like from Thursday really, but from Friday to Monday I had to work. Okay. I was working night shifts, and every time I left, my girl would when she would tell me like, oh, it's been people doing this and then the third around the house. They've been called like they be on the phone with people like around the house like just talking and walking real slow and things like that. And like I've been telling them that, but
how are you doing through all of this?
I didn't got.
It's okay.
I didn't got a little bit of it out, but it's like not knowing is killing me. It's killing me, like because you see stuff like this often, but you don't expect it to be you.
And is the mother, is she your wife?
No, she's not my wife. She was my girlfriend.
Okay. How is she doing?
She's still a little tore, but she's making it. She's trying to stay calm because we just recently had a child. She had to really go in labor early because all the stress that was going down. She had that baby the same night that all of this happened.
In Aiken County by helicopter, drone, and on foot.
This family is living a nightmare, and we are doing everything we can to bring Javeayah home.
If you know anything, authorities want to hear from you tonight. We're continuing to follow breaking news tonight out of Aiken County, where local, state, and federal authorities are nearing 2 days of searching for 4-year-old Javeayah Harris. Your News 1226 team is live from the command center in Aiken County, as well as right here in working to bring you all the information we have on search efforts. We go out live now to your Will Rio and Brett Buffington.
Well, Zaina, the sheriff telling us that they will not give up until Javeayah Harris is brought home safely here. As you said, that we have now searched 3,000 acres. There's 200 law enforcement officials on the ground here. It is hot out here, and time is of the essence.
Well, they shared a map this afternoon of just this search area. It is massive. Some 200 law enforcement personnel trained specifically FBI agents here in the search for missing children. Part of this search, as they ask for anyone with digital evidence in this missing persons case to please submit it. The website link on our website, WRDW.com, this afternoon. That, as the sheriff says, this community's heart is breaking. So many of these people part of the search, Will, they are parents. They are uncles, cousins, grandparents. They have little ones. This little girl, 4 years old, not 4 feet tall, just 40-something pounds. And they believe that she wandered off. They still have no reason to believe that she did not do more than that, the sheriff said this afternoon, and could somewhere be not far from that home, just a half a mile from here.
And that's why we're still seeing the roadblocks here all around us, is that they are thoroughly checking every single car that is coming in and out of this area where the command center is. And to go back to the community support and what so many families are feeling here tonight, he said a lot of these investigators and searchers out here have kids of their own. They know what it's like to go through stuff like this, and that's the big impact. You see helicopters in the air today and ground crews out here trying to find any kind of sign of Javeayah Harris.
You have to think in the back of your head, and I've covered 2 other large-scale searches like this for missing children in my career, and I can tell you, this is something that weighs on everybody who hears this story. At home, we know you are feeling the heartbreak thinking of this family, thinking of this little girl, but these searchers have in the back of their head, not only in a career in law enforcement where you deal with so much bad, they have in the back of their head that this has been hot. Our weather team has been warning for days about this heat cap that was coming through, the spike in the heat, the humidity that was going to make the feel-like temperatures. There's a heat warning coming out tomorrow where it's going to feel like 108 in the afternoon, Will. They all have that in the back of their head that this little girl, just 4, if she wandered away, it has coming up on 48 hours that she could have been somewhere out here if what they believe is true, that she has wandered away. And the sheriff reiterating, I even asked specifically, Will, is there a secondary investigation going on right now where you have some reason to believe this is not a missing person search? And he said right now, everything they have that they can share with us, and certainly in any law enforcement case, in any investigation, there are things that they can't share because it would contaminate any investigative work they are doing. But right now, they have no reason to believe that she is not somewhere nearby.
And that's why they don't want the public showing up to this area that they do have taped off and that they're looking in, is because if someone who is not trained in this kind of search marks off an area that they said that they searched, you know, they can't trust that information to believe that that has been properly searched and gone through.
And I can just tell you that there is that sense that they have to preserve this area too. Trampling through something that could be later, no matter how this case evolves, that could be later used as evidence or something to link where this little girl might be if she is not here, as they believe. And I can tell you something that stood out to me, Will, and this goes back to what Sidney Hood was talking about throughout the day yesterday, no detail being too small, is the sheriff said that in these roadblocks that were set up in just moments after this report happened, I can tell you, listening to the dispatch record, that within seconds of the 911 call and the dispatch going out, an officer came back and said, page the dog team. So they were thinking about quickly finding, quickly searching. But interestingly, in moments after that, they started these roadblocks, and the sheriff's saying this afternoon that people who stopped at that and were checked and they got their information and talked with officers have now become witnesses in what they were able to share in this story and in this case.
And again, that's why they now have as well that website that's set up that anyone can submit any kind of photos, videos, ring camera, surveillance from local stores. And then you can also obviously reach out to that tip line. That's 803-502-5200 at the bottom of your screen there. We also have that on our website. I know we heard from Sheriff Sawyer earlier today in his press conference. Here's what he had to say about the investigation right now.
There are close to 200 law enforcement officers and first responders within this area searching for Javeayah to bring her home, and we are not giving up.
The sheriff there, obviously, with the biggest part of this case and so many people asking the question of where is she, they will be here until that answer is given. But you got to talk with her father today. Interesting perspective on where her mother was through all this. So many people have been asking that question for almost 2 days now, and you have answers.
Right. So we got the incident report earlier today, as well as talking to Javeayah's father. So the incident report, to give you an idea, was the initial caller was the mother. It was Javeayah's mother, and the last thing we know is that she was out in the yard and she was playing at the chicken coop with some chickens and then wandered off. That's what the sheriff's office has told us, is that she wandered off. That's the information that they have. But again, I did talk to her father, and he says that he was actually going to the store to get Javeayah some candy. He went to several different stores, ended up at the laundromat, and that's when he saw law enforcement racing towards the scene. Didn't think that it had anything to do with his family, as anyone would think, right? And then that's when he started thinking, well, my girlfriend's pregnant, maybe she went into labor, there's an emergency. So he sped home. That's when he saw the large law enforcement presence, drones already in the air. They were already asking him questions, and then they said that this has just been heartbreaking for them. Again, this is his narrative that he described to me in his own words. He says that this is truly devastating. They don't know what happened to Javeayah, and they are still wanting to know. They never thought that something like this would hit so close to their own community and family.
You have to think about that father. What a nightmare to pull back into what this scene must have looked like. It has grown here. Some 200 people searching 3,000 acres here in Aiken County as the search for this missing 4-year-old continues this evening.
Thanks, Will and Brett. Again, they just mentioned the sheriff saying earlier they are still treating this as a missing child's case. That's why they're still looking in that area near where she was last seen. I'm bringing in your first alert meteorologist, Emily Acton. Emily, we're talking about heat now, too, as this search continues. There's definitely a risk factor with this when it comes to the personnel searching, but also little Javeayah that could still be out in these conditions.
Yeah, it is brutally hot out there, and that's what we've seen the past couple of days, and that's going to continue at least throughout the evening hours as well. So I was showing the feels like temperature right now. We're feeling like the triple digits, and even by 10 p.m. tonight, we're still going to feel like the upper 80s. So the heat is a big factor. Dehydration, that's a concern. Heat exhaustion, that's a concern as we continue the search.
And people are actually taking a look at that area where they're searching. We're talking about more than 3,000 acres. That's what's highlighted on your screen, followed by that tip line that you can call. And Emily, you've also been talking about heat advisories, right? Mm-hmm. That could possibly continue into the weekend?
Yeah, we're going to see a heat advisory continue for the next 2 hours here in the CSRA. And as we go throughout the rest of our evening, oh, there it goes. It kind of went away there. But we will see, again, those feels like temperatures still in the triple digits, that heat advisory out until 8 p.m. tonight. We'll see the heat advisory again tomorrow. So dangerous heat is here, and it's sticking around.
Emily, thank you. We want to bring in your Sydney Hood, who's also live in Aiken County from right outside the command center. Sydney, you've actually been out on this search since day one, Tuesday night. How has search efforts changed in the last 48 hours now? What's it looking like out there?
The search is definitely growing more urgent by the hours, Zeta, as again, like you just mentioned, we inch closer to the 48-hour mark since Javeayah Harris was last seen. And I want to talk about these roadblocks that have been going on in the Shiloh Heights area. You can see one going on right here behind me on Pipeline Road. I am in front of Bethel Baptist Church, which is the staging area for all the law enforcement agencies out here. But they have various roadblocks set up, like I said, Pipeline Road over onto Reynolds Pond Road. No car is getting in or out of this neighborhood unchecked. They are asking people their names, their phone numbers, any information that they may have, such as did they see Javeayah Harris the day she went missing? Did they know her or her family prior to that day? They are asking people what are they doing in the area, how often they frequent this area, and just again any sort of basic information that could lead law enforcement in the direction of bringing Javeayah Harris home. And I said again, no car is leaving or going unchecked. And when I say every car, it doesn't matter if you live in this neighborhood, if you work in this area, or if you're just traveling through. They are going to stop your car, open up your trunks, open up your doors, ask you questions, because like Sheriff Sawyer said, those roadblocks are helping them in this investigation, because they say they could be talking to potential witnesses in this case. But that also goes with the overall
community help. Sheriff Sawyer mentioned in his news conference, he mentioned that a lot of people in this community want to help. They want to be a part of the search. He is urging people to stay away from the command center out here on Pipeline Road, but he said that what the community can do is utilize that tip line the sheriff's office has on their website. We have it on our website as well. The sheriff announced today that they have opened a website where anyone can go in and submit any photos or videos that may help the sheriff's office in this investigation. Sheriff Sawyer said that as of today, they have put up digital billboards getting Javeayah Harris's face and name out there. I was at a gas station about a half a mile from this church, and I saw her poster on the front door there with the tip line from the sheriff's office as well. And Sheriff Sawyer said that people who live in this Shiloh Heights neighborhood to look around in their yards, look in any bushes or ditches or anywhere where a child may potentially be at. He wants the community to know that they could play a part in that by being vigilant and also just praying for Javeayah, praying for her family, and praying for the people who are out here battling this brutal heat, searching for her. Take a listen at what he had to say.
Most everybody out here searching has children. Some have grandchildren. And whether they do or they don't, our job is to protect the citizens of this county. Young, middle-aged, old, and we're not giving up till we have answers, until we bring Javeayah home. So, I'm asking for patience and understanding. Our priority, as I've already said, is to find Javeayah and bring her home to her family and to this community.
Again, you just heard from Aiken County Sheriff Marty Sawyer there. He said that they are not giving up until they bring 4-year-old Javeayah Harris home. Again, he urges people to utilize that tip line that they have and to share Javeayah's photo. We cannot get her face and name out there enough to the public. And Zaina, I can say based on what I've heard from neighbors out here and what I have seen on social media, there is no doubt in my mind that Javeayah Harris's name has spread so far outside of Aiken County here tonight.
Absolutely, Sydney, I agree with you. Thank you for that update. We go now to your Meredith Anderson, who has a bird's eye view of the search today. Meredith.
Yeah, Zaina, we were able to track SLED's helicopter using its tail number, and we want to show you 2 flight paths. This is the most recent one. Here's Aiken Regional. This is Columbia Highway North. You can see this was an area of interest. They circled this area for about an hour, but just before that, they were searching in another area, and this is important. This is where Javeayah lives and her family. They flew over this way to some of the lower lying rural areas, heavily wooded, difficult to see from the road, so they wanted to look from a bird's eye view. After that, they went over here, and this is important. You can't see the topography on this map. This is a rather large pond, so they were specifically interested in a body of water before heading back to Aiken Regional. Of course, we will be monitoring SLED's helicopter and let you know if there are any other areas of interest that we see.
Thank you, Meredith. A large search effort both on the ground and in the sky. You may be wondering why there wasn't an Amber Alert. We actually looked into that. There are specific requirements law enforcement needs to send one out. Authorities must believe a child was abducted. The child needs to be 17 years old or younger and in immediate danger. They have to have enough information available, like suspect information and vehicle details, along with the child's name and information entered into the National Crime Information Center. We want to give you another look at Javeayah. Aiken County deputies say she was last seen Tuesday night when her mother saw her playing in their chicken coop at their home on Hillsborough Street and Ridgecrest Road around 8 o'clock. She told deputies Javeayah was wearing pink Minnie Mouse pajamas, Crocs, and she has braids with pink beads on the end. If you see her, call 911 or submit any tips to the tip line here on your screen. Since 4-year-old Javeayah Harris vanished from her home in Aiken County. The search growing more urgent by the hour. We're going to send things out to our live team coverage with your Will Rio. Will, we know the sheriff just spoke within the last 30 minutes giving an update on that search.
Yeah, that's right, Zaina. Again, just in the last 30 minutes, we heard from Aiken County Sheriff Marty Sawyer on an update in the search for 4-year-old Javeayah Harris here. And he's just saying he wants the community to pray. The support has been immense from this community. There have been tips that have been submitted. There's now a new tip line and a website that you can actually submit photos or videos, any kind of Ring camera video that you may have that could lead to finding Javeayah Harris. And we will have that on our website. That's WRDW.com. Again, there's also that tip line that you see at the bottom of your screen, 803-502-5200. If you have any information, too little is not, you can submit any kind of information that you may have. But again, we heard from Sheriff Sawyer that he says that they're now putting up billboards, digital billboards, for any kind of information that people may have for 4-year-old Harris. We also heard that he said that he wants volunteers and the public to stay away at this moment because he has specialized team. There's about 200 law enforcement personnel who are on the ground here in this heat searching for Harris right now. They've been doing that for 2 days here, and the search has only grown more urgent as time is ticking away. Now, we did have a chance to hear more from Sawyer. He says that this is still a missing persons case, a missing child's case at this time. They have no reason to believe that Javeayah Harris has left the area. So again, that's why they have those roadblocks in this spot to make sure that they are questioning every single person. And one person who has been on the ground for the last 2 days, that is your Sydney Hood. And I'll toss things over to her. And Sydney, what have you seen out here the last 2 days, and how have things maybe shifted in the last 24 hours from the first day of this search?
I've seen these roadblocks take longer. And what I mean by that, the first night I was out here, deputies were just looking inside cars with flashlights and letting people go. But as you can see behind me, we've got a couple of cars lined up, but all day long I've watched cars line up here on Pipeline Road beside Bethel Baptist Church where the staging area is at. But you have deputies with clipboards questioning people in these cars. No car is leaving or coming in unchecked. They are asking questions like, what are people doing in the area? How often are they in the area? Do they live around here? Did they see Javeayah before she went missing? Did they see her the day she went missing? Did they know Javeayah or her family? Those are just a couple of the questions that are being asked by people. When I say no car is leaving this area unchecked, I mean no car is leaving. Our cars are getting checked and questioned as we go into the neighborhood, driving around trying to see what we can find out from neighbors, trying to get their perspective on things. Several of the neighbors I've spoken to say that they have been questioned by the FBI and SLED on what they know, on what they saw, just anything to kind of characterize that neighborhood. Some neighbors told me that for the most part, they tend to keep to themselves out here. Not a lot of neighbors chatting with each other, but I can tell you I've seen a lot more neighbors sitting on their front porches and walking around just trying to see what people are doing out here, trying to help in any way that they can. And I know that Sheriff Sawyer mentioned that the community response has been incredible here. A lot of people wanting to help out here, but he is urging the public to stay away from the staging area, to let law enforcement and the professionals take care of the search right now. But one thing that the public can do, Sheriff Sawyer said, is to use that tip line that the sheriff's office has. We have that number posted on our website as well. They are saying that no detail is small here. Sheriff Sawyer even said that they have made a website for people to drop any photos or videos that the public may feel like could help them in their investigation, give them any tips or any leads to bringing Javeayah Harris home. That is the primary focus in this search. Sheriff Sawyer said that multiple times just now, that they will not stop searching until they bring this 4-year-old little girl home safely to her family. And we talk about how hot it is out here. It is brutally hot out here. I've seen search crews with sweat rags on their shoulders, carrying around water, just doing anything that they can to try and bring her home, to just bring an end to the search and bring her home. And another thing that he says the community can do is to search their own yard, search anywhere where a child may be hiding. So any bushes, any ditches, just utilizing your own space to help them out at this time. But again, as Sheriff Sawyer mentioned multiple times, their primary focus right now is finding Javeayah and bringing Javeayah home.
And Sydney, you talked about how thorough those searches are. You can see right there behind you on that roadblock that they actually have opened the trunk of some of these cars to make sure that people aren't hiding anything, to make sure that no one is escaping out of this area with Javeayah potentially. We know that that's what they're checking for. So another thing that you talked about was just the community support. And praying for this family and praying for Javeayah's safe return home. I actually had a chance to talk to Javeayah's father earlier this afternoon to just ask him what exactly happened, what he knew on the day that she went missing. He told me that he actually went to a couple of different stores because Javeayah wanted him to go get some candy. He ended up at a laundromat, and then that's when he saw a large law enforcement presence moving through town. He didn't think anything of it, but he knew that his girlfriend, which is Javeayah's mother, was pregnant at the time and was worried that maybe she went into labor. We now have found out that she did actually go into labor and have a child the same day that Javeayah went missing, but he actually went home, saw a large law enforcement presence, saw a drone in the air already, said he couldn't go to the house or be in that area. He was questioned by detectives and investigators there on scene, but he says they have no idea what happened. We know that Javeayah's mother was actually the one who called 911 the night that she went missing. The last thing we know is that Javeayah was actually outside by the chicken coop playing with some of the chickens, and that was the last time that she was seen. And now we're seeing these missing persons flyers all over town in this community. If you have any information, reach out. They said that they are just absolutely torn up. Javeayah's father actually got emotional with me over the phone, saying that you hear about things like this in the movies or on TV, but you never expect it to hit so close to home, and especially to your own family here. So this is a very tight-knit community. We've seen so many people reach out to the sheriff's office wanting to offer support and offer any help that they can, but they say the best thing that you can do is stay away from this area as investigators continue to comb this area. They've searched around 3,000 acres, and if you've been out here, it's pretty hilly. It's very wooded too, so you can imagine what they're trying to go through. There's still Hurricane Helene damage and debris in the wooded area, so, and not to mention the temperatures. So they're dealing with a lot out here. They're just asking the communities to send in any tips and support that they can through that tip line and the website that they have. Again, we'll have that on our website as they continue their search for Javeayah Harris out here. Zaina.
Will, thank you. And again, we're going on almost 2 days since little Javeayah was last seen. And a lot of you actually may be wondering, why is for Javeayah? Why is there not an Amber Alert? We actually asked that question. Law enforcement must meet certain requirements, they told us. They must believe a child was abducted. The child must be 17 years old or younger and in immediate danger. They have to have sufficient information available, suspect information, vehicle details, along with the child's name and information. Of course, they have that, but Sheriff Sawyer did say they do not have any details regarding a suspect or vehicle details. That's why they did not issue an Amber Alert. The child's information would also have to be entered into the National Crime Information Center. But again, the sheriff saying they are still investigating this as a missing child's case. They are still looking through that area because they believe she still is within that area. She was not seen too far from. Again, the tip line we want to show you again. We want to show you Javeayah's picture here on your screen. Again, she went missing Tuesday night. The number for the tip line, 803-502-5200. The sheriff's office also saying they have a website where neighbors can share their surveillance video, doorbell video, anything that could have caught something important. Share it. Investigators say she was wearing pink Minnie Mouse pajamas, Crocs, and has pink beads in her braids. If you see her, you are urged to contact 911 immediately. And a quick note for those of you who may be eager to join in on the search efforts, we've been mentioning officials are urging you to stay back while they investigate. We asked them if they were in need of any water or any other supplies. They told us no, not right now. They would just like everyone to stay